Here we are together again on the radio. Here's a topic. I've warned you girls about it. I've talked about this. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Everyone's in denial. I keep being told by the fatties out there, and we've got a lot of them, it's possibly fit and fat. We're fit and fat, and we're big, beautiful women, and we're fit and fat. Fit and fat. Over and over and over. I have a story here that I want to combine with a story I told you about a couple of years ago. And I'll start with that one first. I don't have the story in front of me, but I remember it. The story said that birth control pills are less effective on women who weigh over 150 pounds. Studies had been done, and ladies, if you weigh over 150 pounds, the pill is less likely to work. I think the difference is made up by the fact that it's a lot harder to get laid if you're over 150 pounds, right? So that picks up some of the slack. But one of the reasons speculated at that time was that, you know, the pill is always the same size. There's no small pills, medium pills, and large pills. And so if you are larger, the little birth control pill is not going to be as effective because it has to cover a larger area, more of a bloodstream, etc. A comparison, for example, would be drinking and driving. Ever have to take that little DUI test now when you study for your driver's license? Drinking and driving. And they tell you that if you weigh 110 pounds, it takes a certain number of drinks to get drunk. If you weigh 150 pounds, it takes a few more drinks or another half a drink to get drunk. Then if you weigh over 180 pounds, it takes even more drinks to get drunk. The bigger you are, the more drinks it takes to get drunk. Now we find out that if you're over 150 pounds, the birth control pill may not get the job done to the same extent that it does if you're 110 or 120. Like it or not, them's the facts, girls. Well, now some new information for you fatties out there who say you're fit and fat. This from England. Dateline London from Reuters. More than half, are you hearing this? More than half of British mothers who died during childbirth were overweight, according to a report. The Confidential Inquiry into Maternal and Child Health said maternal-related deaths in Britain are at a 2-decade high. In its annual report called Saving Mothers' Lives, Reviewing Maternal Deaths to Make Motherhood Safer, it found that of the almost 300 women who died during childbirth between 2003 and 2005 from pregnancy-related conditions, more than half were obese. These deaths left 520 children motherless. Obese pregnant women are at, by the way, you can tell me you're fit and fat, girls. These are the facts here. This is not somebody's opinion. These are facts. I'm reading them right here, right now. According to this study, this annual report, Saving Mothers' Lives, obese pregnant women are more at risk of dying, suffering heart disease, miscarriage, diabetes, infections, and blood clots. It says here, although the death rate has not changed significantly since the year 2000, It has risen by around 40% since 1985 through 87, the study showed. It also found that women from poorer backgrounds were up to 7 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications. By the way, have you looked around the supermarket lately? How many of the poorer women in there are also fatties? Right? The study added that about 40% of these deaths were preventable. Are you hearing this, girls? Preventable. Says here the report criticized doctors for failing to identify and manage common medical conditions or potential emergencies outside their immediate area of expertise. Wow. Totally amazing. Have you fit and fat, girls? The report said that maternal obesity was now, quote, a major and growing risk factor for maternal death. So keep eating for 3 there, dear. Go ahead. The report called for more preconception counseling and advice for obese women to help tackle the problem. CMOC Director Gwyneth Lewis said the report, quote, clearly shows the impact that a mother's overall health has on the outcome of her pregnancy. So there you go. You go right ahead. You go, girl. You go get fat. You bounce around there at Club Bounce, whatever it is you're doing. The bottom line here is now we find that half of the deaths, that's 40% to be specifically honest, 40% of the maternal deaths in Britain are caused by women being too fat. 40%. And these fatties continue. You look around the store. When you walk through that supermarket, you see the fatties with the kids, the fatties who have kids and they're pregnant with more kids. Now they're really being stupid because they could die in childbirth. Die. What do you think about this?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom Leykis.
If it feels good, do it. That's my motto.
That's everybody's motto, just about to listen to this show, Gabriel.
The Tom Leykis Show.
97.1 Free FM. SoCal's FM talk station.
It's the Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. That is our telephone number. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, yes. In England, a study that shows that among recent childbirth situations, 40% of the deaths of women in childbirth caused by women being obese. What do you think about that? Jonathan on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great.
All right. I got a couple rules about fighting obesity in women in our society, dude.
Okay.
Rule number 1, no matter how ugly you are, do not have sex with a fat woman. Do not do it. It reinforces their confidence. Don't hit on them, even. The other one, laugh at them loudly in public. Laugh at them so loud that they start to feel bad about being fat.
Yeah, see, in our case, we start making fun of them on the air. And I'm hoping that you guys will follow suit. This is just not acceptable.
Laugh at them. It may seem rude, but we're really helping the safety of them. You're helping. So laugh loudly at them and do not have, if you can get them to, if you can break their confidence down till they have to get skinny because they feel so bad about getting openly laughed at, you will be saving their lives.
You're exactly right.
I'm laughing at you not to make, I'm helping you, girl. I don't want you to die in childbirth.
Exactly.
I want you to live.
That's right.
So get skinny, you fatty. Ha ha.
Thank you for that.
doing an awesome job. Take me out JFK style so I can scream really loud.
Senior or junior?
Junior.
Huh, of course. I'm sure the fatties are getting very upset now, and, you know, what can we do? This country has more fugly fatties. Chicks who think that they're not only beautiful, but, you know, fashionable and all that. It's outrageous. But let me read to you again from this study, just in case you were not paying attention, girls. I'm not making this up. This is coming directly from Reuters. From a study of the confidential inquiry into maternal and child health regarding maternity-related deaths in Britain. Obese pregnant women are more at risk of dying, suffering heart disease, miscarriage, diabetes, infections, and blood clots. You notice the fatties aren't calling in to argue with me. They're not calling in to debate because they know it's true and they just can't handle the truth. Like they can handle a Snickers bar. John on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom.
John.
Brother. Okay, 40% are dying. Well, that means 40% are fat. Probably 40% of the listeners are fat. That's why they're not calling in.
Well, I think the fat women who are at risk are in complete denial. And they're not going to call in to defend themselves because they don't have anything to defend themselves with.
Well, exactly. What would they take to the table?
Right.
Pork chop?
Exactly.
All right. Take me out Kobe style, please.
Here you go, John.
This is about us. She's so special to me. Yeah, it beats in my heart. Yeah, the air I breathe. She's so special to me.
1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. James on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. Long-time listener. First time I've gotten through.
Good.
Well, I'm calling because the subject you're covering kind of hits home. I got my wife, she's overweight, and we got 3 kids, one on the way, and what you just said about what's going on over in the UK with overweight women dying, while giving birth, I'm kind of curious. You were saying that had to do with a lot with other health risks, like what?
I read the list. Didn't you hear the list? I just read it.
No, they asked me to shut the radio off, so that's what I did.
Yeah, but we also play it down the phone line when we're doing the show. You can hear it down the phone line. Obese pregnant women are more at risk of dying. That's pretty severe. Suffering heart disease, miscarriage, diabetes, infections, and blood clots.
That's fantastic. So what are ways they're saying or places we can go that would make that not be, besides the obvious of losing weight, because during the pregnancy you can't really do much about that except for what the doctor orders.
Well, first of all, you have to start at a normal weight before you get pregnant.
Right. It's obviously something we did wrong, along with our age.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
And you're having your 4th kid?
Having my 4th kid.
By design?
By design, yes.
You wanted to have 4 kids?
Yes, I did.
Wow. Can you tell me why?
Upbringing. I mean, I grew up in a really large family. Obviously, by the large family, you can tell that we're Catholic, and so that's just kind of the way we were raised. And I love children. I mean, there's no question with that. Probably could have waited till I was more prepared and a little older to have them. But
how about financially? How's that working out for you?
Well, I mean, we have our struggles living in Southern California. Really isn't the easiest thing in the world, and I'm not a scholar by any means, but we're getting by. Obviously not as well as you are, but
that's because I didn't have 4 kids by age 29.
Well, the main reason for my call, like I said, was with the 4th child on the way. Obviously, the wife dying on the table or whatever while having the baby is definitely a concern. Having my kids without their, I don't even know how to describe that would go, but I didn't know if the study you were reading or, gave any other context of what we could do or.
How about lose weight?
Right, but how do you do that when you're pregnant? She can't exactly go to a gym, while she's pregnant.
You know what? A lot of women do, right up to like month 6 and 7 at least. I've seen it.
Right. So that's about all that's available to us is just, go to a gym.
Oh, what are you going to do?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
Well, what I'm trying to tell you is I think you're in a situation here where your wife, how much does your wife weigh normally?
Normally, to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you that normally. I mean, when we first got together, she was probably right around 130. She's at least twice that now.
260.
Yeah, she's pretty big. She's got, 4 kids back to back. We really haven't.
Still, 260 is extreme. I mean, why do you allow that?
Why do I allow that? Well, it kind of falls under the same category of the last conversation you had on your last show of, that whole stigmata of girls talk too much and don't really listen anymore. It's not the 50s anymore, unfortunately. Can't really force people to do anything. I'm here.
Yeah, but then why would you have all these children with somebody that you can't reason with about something like that?
Well, it's not like she hasn't tried. I mean, I'm not saying that, that I've done everything I could to make it, I haven't done everything I should say.
But you're not having children.
I'm sorry, what?
You are not having babies.
That's true.
And on top of that, you're paying for all this.
That's true, too.
You have a right to expect that when you come home, you see somebody attractive.
Right. Well, I mean, the attraction part's not in question. I mean,
so 260 pounds coming at you like the Michelin Man, that's very hot for you.
It's my wife is there's never been an attraction issue. I mean, with me, maybe I'm not the norm, but my wife is attracted to me because of who she is and how she raises my children and the person she is. But obviously, the help that comes along with being obese is questionable. I grew up in a house where my father was overweight, actually morbidly obese, and I had to go along with being raised in a household where the help that came with that affected my livelihood as a child and the quality of my life. So, and that's kind of what I'm worried about.
So why would you then repeat the process by being with somebody who won't even hear of losing weight? I mean, do you ever read these facts to her? Do you ever talk about this?
Well, we do, and the doctor that we have has delivered all, going on our 4th child. She's definitely more critical of my wife when it comes to that. She's able to kind of grow the balls that I don't have and kind of jump on her for being overweight and not doing anything about it, more than I am because I live in the house, obviously,
It's outrageous. I mean, what happens if she dies and you've got 4 kids or 5 kids? By the way, are you ever going to stop? You are Catholic, after all. You're not supposed to stop.
Well, yeah, I am. I'm not a Bible-thumping Catholic. 4 kids to me is plenty. We've definitely talked about the avenues that we're going to take to not have more children, although I can't say that we're 100% on that yet. But
holy cow.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how you do it.
Work my ass off and...
And since you're anonymous, tell us, how much money do you make?
About $46,000 a year.
You support what will soon be 6 people on $46,000 a year?
Sure do.
Where do you live? A cardboard box downtown?
Many would think so, but no.
Where can you, seriously, I live in L.A. Where can you live for that kind of money with 6 people?
Well, we're in it's a 3-bedroom condo in Garden Grove.
Who paid for that?
We're renting right now. We don't own.
Right. And you won't be owning anything for a long time.
More than likely.
And you had to start having babies right away. You couldn't wait until you had like a down payment on a house, or you couldn't plan.
I'm not saying that the choices we made were the brightest. And we were your atypical, maybe, I thought with the wrong head, and we thought we had the world figured out.
But now you just keep going, having more kids.
Good point. I'm not arguing with you at all, Tom.
And how are you going to stop having kids? You're going to put her on the pill? You're going to have a vasectomy? What are you going to do?
A vasectomy. Make it permanent.
You know the Pope will not approve.
That's okay. He doesn't have to. He's in Rome.
Well, you did say that you were Catholic. That's why you're having all these kids.
Well, that's the household that I was raised in. I did, I'm not like I said, I'm not a Bible thumping Catholic. So, I'm not saying that I'm your typical Catholic that, I don't know the Bible front to back, but that's what I was raised in. Raised in a huge family, and I've always loved having kids around. So, and my kids are a blessing. I have no issue with that, nor do I have any regrets. It's the health issue that worries me at this point.
Yeah, well, I would be concerned. But this story is on Reuters, and I suggest you show it to her because it's pretty bad. Marie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Tom. I just want to say you have a good point because obesity is a very serious problem, and I don't know what you're quoting from or anything, as having just turned on the station. But, and it's not an excuse, but pregnancy does cause, not everybody, because a lot of people can stay trim, but it's very hard for women, to keep their weight down, carrying the baby, cravings, all that.
But they start fat.
That's not always true.
And I didn't say always.
Well, why is it? Why? And it's not an excuse. It's a fact that women have children. Why are men going around with their bellies hanging on the floor?
Well, first of all, this has nothing to do. This has nothing to do. Stop right there. This has nothing to do with what men do. This has to do with people who die in childbirth, and men do not have children. So what men do has nothing to do with what women should be doing at all.
I can take a point. You took my phone call. That's my point.
By the way, you do not tell me how. You do not tell me how to do a show. Okay? I've got all the tools to make sure that you are not driving this bus. I'm driving the bus. You serve at my bidding. You are on the air to have a conversation under my ground rules the way I tell you. You don't call up here and tell me how to do this. Do you understand? Huh?
Hang up on me then.
I didn't hang up on you. But you're not going to tell me how to do the show. And I will just use your voice when necessary as a little bit of seasoning to the conversation. But I will not allow you to take over the program and tell me how to do it. Do you understand?
Over the program. I'm just saying health issues, yes, that's very scary, very valid. They need to be around for their children. Yes, I agree. But calling them fatties.
They are fatties.
Bringing it to a point.
Fugly fatties.
And you're pretty damn ugly yourself.
That's okay, dear.
I've seen pictures of you.
That's great, darling.
And you're old.
Well, there you go, darling.
But what does that have
But I'm
to do with
rich,
anything?
and therefore nobody cares. I'm rich and famous and successful, so nobody cares.
And people
That's the difference between me and you. That's the difference between me and you. That's the difference. That is the difference between me and you. I am rich and successful and famous, and you're just fat and old.
Lonely. I'm not fat, and I'm not.
Sure you're not.
I have a very fulfilled life.
Really? That's why you're so upset about this subject.
No, I think it's rude and how
you seem awfully sensitive about this.
Because, I just think you're a rude man. I think that's how you make your ratings off people. That's how you make your ratings
That's exactly right, including from people like you.
I am calling because I think you can handle.
Oh, there you go.
Issues. I'm giving you your point.
But how would you know what I'm talking about if you don't listen? You see, you're one of the listeners.
I am listening today.
Not just today. You have listened before.
I think you have a lot.
You listen. You go to my website. You look at my photograph. You're obsessed with me. You are obsessed with me.
I remember you from other radio
You are obsessed with me. How old are you?
42.
Yeah, I don't think you're older than that. You're older than that. You're older than that. Hang on a second. Carrie, what did you want to say here to Marie? Go ahead, Carrie. Is Carrie not ready? Go ahead, Carrie.
I'm here.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
I just want to let Marie know that I I just had a baby 4 months ago. I gained 37 pounds, and I'm now 10 pounds lighter than the day that I got pregnant. And I think that it's a crock for women to say that, that they have to gain weight because they're pregnant. If you love your husband and if you care about the way that you look, then you don't gain weight. It's real easy to lose. It's fat. I agree. It's fat that wasn't there to begin with, so there's no reason for it to hang around afterwards.
And he can knock me all he wants without knowing me, but I didn't have the problem with weight gain either. I will admit, I did gain 40 pounds during pregnancy, and I, like you, took it off too right away. Proud of myself. It does take a lot of hard work. But nonetheless, it just seems he's kind of harsh on women, because women are the ones who get pregnant as the mothers, the future of our children.
It's their choice.
But calling them fatties.
He is a pro-choice nation. It's a pro-choice nation, and the woman has a choice whether or not she's going to carry the baby or not. And if you're going to have a problem after the fact that I gained weight, I did this, I did that, then you shouldn't have done it in the first place.
I'm not talking about me in general. He's just rude to women.
I'm talking in general also. I'm talking in general also.
I mean, we have
if you had a problem with it, you shouldn't have done it in the first place. It's a crock. Women who say that they gained weight because they're pregnant, and you see these women like that last guy who was 260 pounds. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Well, women do gain weight, but they should be able to take it off. You're right there. But they do gain weight, but they should be able to take it off, yes, because then when they have their next one, they're just that much heavier. So that's not my point. And it's a very serious... obesity is very serious.
And why aren't they so fat in other countries when they have babies?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. There's no excuse. There's no excuse.
Well, there's obesity, but okay, you're right, and this is about this article today. But Tom Leykis is fat,
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Tom Leykis is fat, but he's also rich. Rich makes a big difference, and it's a big difference for a man to be fat than a woman to be fat, and it's a big difference for a fat rich man.
Alone.
Tell her, you're rich, so you can be as fat as you want.
And by the way, this has nothing to do with what men do. And the fact is, you can say that women get fat because they're pregnant all you want. But I've been to many countries in Europe and South America. I have seen pregnant women, and the pregnant women in these other countries do not turn into be the big fatties that they do here.
Well, that's because they care about their husband. They care about their husband coming home.
Because they know their husband. You know why? Because they know their husband will probably leave them for a mistress if they don't keep it together. Bottom line, end of story.
My husband couldn't be happier right now with me.
Obesity is very serious, and you're right about that. Yes, in children, men, and women. It's a very serious. I guess I just would like to see Tom a little respectful of mothers.
I don't have to be respectful.
You have a valid point. No. But these are mothers.
You have to listen to the story. You have to listen to the show on a daily basis.
I don't have the article, and I probably should have listened to it first. I just think it's a little more respect, because people have different issues. And in a way, yes, Tom, you make your money off this, but I guess I probably shouldn't listen to you, because I think you're a little rude about women. And
I'm rude about everything. And if you don't like it, you're listening to the wrong show. You're not in the target demographic. You're a 42. You say you're a 42-year-old female. Guess what? You're not in the target audience for this program.
Yeah. Well, okay, but see, you're probably right. But see, that's how, again, we're here.
I'm not probably right. I decided what the target audience is.
The way you could end your conversation is always by belittling people. That's the way you end your conversation, because you don't.
And you sure showed yourself. And you sure showed yourself to be the better person by calling in here and trying to hurt me or insult me. You sure proved your point.
I just would like to see a little bit. I would just like to.
And you did it by calling in and doing what you criticized me for. Fantastic. You sure proved yourself a better person.
Women fatty.
You sure proved yourself to be the better person, didn't you?
When you listen to Tom,
you're
the only one who does.
And, young, and you just feed off that.
Well, that's good. You call KFI and KRLA and you let them know how young our callers are. They would love to have the callers we have. They can't get them.
This wasn't just to bash you. This really wasn't, because I think in a way...
Oh, yes. Yes, it wasn't to bash me at all. No, not you.
See, it's because you're insulted, so now you won't...
I'm not insulted at all. I'm getting rich. Every minute you talk to me, I'm getting rich.
Points. You have a lot of valid points for young men and women. They shouldn't get married. It just irked me that you called this pregnant women fatties.
Marie, you got to listen more on a daily basis. You'll know.
It wasn't just to bash you.
You'll know more if you listen on a daily basis. You'll understand. You'll understand.
I don't understand?
No, you don't understand. And there she goes. All right, very good. Oh, God, this is the best job in the world.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM.
Tom Leykis.
I love your show. Your show is what turns me on midday.
The Tom Leykis Show. 97.1 Free FM. SoCal's FM talk station.
It's the Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Yes, a fascinating study that the fatties, you can tell the fatties really hate it. Obesity is behind as many as half of all maternity-related deaths. You know, you're having a baby, and 300 women died in England, actually in the whole UK, between 03 and 05. 300 women. Are you hearing this? Of the almost 300 women who died between 03 and 05, more than half were obese, leaving 520 children motherless. It's amazing. And yet women don't care and don't want to do anything about their weight. They just want to have babies, no matter how fat they are, no matter how fat they get. Tamara, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I am partially agree with the person who called you first. I believe her name was Mary. I'm not really sure. But the one who was 42.
I don't care what her name was. It's irrelevant.
Okay, well, here's the thing. And I'll tell you why I'm partially agree. I never been fat. I've been fat once when I was pregnant with my second child, and then I realized that you can't be, that was just ridiculous, okay? So I lost weight as much as I could, and after my third child, I lost all of the weight that I had, even with the previous one. But I have my best friend who is actually really fat, and she tried to lose weight as much as she can, and she can't. Because she has the disease that she can't really lose anything. It's thyroid. You either can lose...
Yes, and by the way, less than 2% of all people have that.
You know what I mean? So basically, calling her fat, it would be really...
Again, 98% of the people who are fat do not have a thyroid condition.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. But listen, some of them was born like that, and they couldn't lose anything.
Again, that is less than 2% of the entire population.
I'm really not agree with the 2% to say.
Well, you don't have to agree with it. It's a fact.
Well, I don't know about the fact, but listen.
Why are there so many less fat? Look, you come from Europe, I'm imagining. Why are there so many less fat women in Europe?
I'll tell you why. Because right now,
it's the same species, right? You have the same thyroids over there, right? Why are there so many less fat women in Europe?
I'll tell you why. Because we have a different type of food. Completely different type of food. Even if it's really fattening that you think it is, it's not as much as yours. Plus, we walk a lot. We don't have as much car as you do. Well, right now we do. But we just walk as much more as we can.
And you don't eat like pigs like women in this country do.
You know what? We are totally different. It's not...
That's my point. It isn't thyroids. It's eating like a pig.
You probably, you know what, I am agree with you about this one. They are eat a lot, and I'm basically, I was eating a lot with my second pregnancy also.
Have you ever seen a Cinnabon in Europe?
You know what? There is something else than that. That's much fatter than that, but you don't get a lot. I don't know. You just don't get fat. I don't know why.
Well, I'll give you an example. And by the way, I love McDonald's. I'm their biggest fan. And every time I go to another country, I go into McDonald's just to see what it's like. Do you know they do not have double quarter pounders with cheese in other countries? That's only here.
No, they don't. They don't.
Do you know?
Right.
Right. Do you know that what they call large fries? I'm sorry, what they call small fries in this country is large fries in all the other countries?
No, I never knew about that.
Take a look next time you're in Europe. The point is that Americans eat like pigs, and American women are not big fatties because of their thyroids. They're big fatties because they're fat and they eat fattening food, lots of it.
But you know what? Right now, at this year's, there is listen. There is the little one. I was at work, and this woman came, and I said, well, if I'll have anything extra, I'll go into the liposuction, whatever it's called. And she was laughing at me and saying, oh, really? Well, the God made us that you can't do anything. I said, no. Right now, there is environment that we can go ahead, and because it's a lot of plastic surgery that you can do, you can definitely do it, even if you have to go and pay for it and get some couple $1,000s that you have to be paying off or whatever, but at least you can look good.
That's right. But the point is, when I get on these women for being fat when they're pregnant, the vast majority of them are fat because they eat like pigs, and they don't care. They don't, and you read the statistics, and now you see that that in England, where by the way, I was just in England. They're closer to American eating habits, I think, than anybody in Europe. They've got Starbucks in every corner like we do, and they've got McDonald's like we do, and other fast food places, and they eat like pigs like we do. Plus, they eat all those steak and kidney pies and all that other stuff.
Oh, I love this.
It's delicious, but you know what happens when you eat too much of that. The point is that now I read you a study. It says women are dying in childbirth. Half of the women who die in childbirth die because they're too fat.
And this is so bad.
And these women just are in denial. They just call up and yell at me instead of saying, you know what, maybe I had to drop 50 pounds.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You know what? Right now, when you're trying to point about the whole pregnancy situation, yes, we eat like there is no tomorrow.
See that? So we agree a lot more than you thought.
Yes, you know what? My husband would be really happy to hear it.
Thank
Alrighty,
you.
well, he really loves your show. I'll tell him that I talked to you.
Please do.
Okay.
Thank you, Tamara. Please appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Chris on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Dad. How's it going?
Doing okay, son.
Hey, I just like a quick word. All the girls that are getting upset, you know they're just fat. That's why they're taking this to the heart.
Of course.
I was out in Phoenix for a year. I lived there. That's how I got onto your show. But I'm in Miami. Every single girl around here is a 10. I mean, down here, men have a definition of fineness. You don't.
Well, I lived in Miami for 2 years. I know it well, and you're absolutely right.
I mean, and all the girls, the majority of them are not from this country, so they take care of themselves a lot better. But you just can't have the fat girls walking around like.
No, in Miami you don't.
The Tom Leykis Show.